Well, from a young child, I felt a call to ministry. I did not know exactly what that ministry would look like, but I was always open to being used of the Lord however He would have me be used. In fact, when Venice and I were married, I told Venice that ministry was my priority. I was going into accounting, was full-time accountant for over 20 years, but she knew even from the beginning of our marriage that my commitment and priority was to ministry, and that if the Lord called me or opened a door, I was going to be willing to walk through that door by His grace. And so as we were married, we remained active in youth camps, and we were part of Bible study groups, prayer groups, just committed to being involved wherever we could. And then as we progressed in our marriage life, there was an opportunity to serve as the Acts editor of the Acts magazine. We did that for a few years, and then there was an opportunity to start a church in around 2002, and so we did that. We did a church plant and served as a bivocational pastor for 10 years. During those 10 years, we made wonderful relationships, had wonderful connections with God's people, experienced His blessing, participated in baptisms. It was just a wonderful time. And then in the year about 2012, we had the opportunity to become full-time, and that was here in Harrisburg, Oregon. And I felt like that was the right move, instead of being, split between a secular job and a pastoral position. I felt like it would be a benefit to be full-time in the ministry. And so at that time, we picked up our stakes, so to speak, and we moved to Harrisburg and have served in Harrisburg up and through June of 2024. So that was for 12 years. And say the same thing about the Harrisburg congregation, great people. We had tremendous relationships with the folks there, and really feel blessed in our time that we were able to serve. In March, I believe, of 2024, there was a succession committee made by the board of directors. And during that succession committee and meetings that were happening, I was asked to submit my name for consideration. And it's a humbling thing to be asked even to submit your name to that. And it can be overwhelming, but my focus was always on not so much about the position, but just praying that God's will is done in whoever sits in that position and fills that leadership role. And so during the time that the succession committee was in search of a new president, my commitment was just to pray, to prepare spiritually if that was what doors that the Lord would open, and to most importantly just pray that God's will is done. And so my focus again was not so much on the position, but just that whatever God's will is, that's what we want. And when I was selected for the position, it is overwhelming. You feel a sense of tremendous responsibility. You feel a sense of privilege. You feel a sense of, you think of the men that have gone before you and the incredible challenge it is to fill those shoes. You see them as men of God, men that God has used. And so it's all humbling. It's another word that comes to mind is compelling. It's compelling to seek God, that Lord, help me, give me the wisdom, give me the understanding, give me the insights that I need to lead and lead well. And I remember after I was selected by the board, that the board gathered around me, and so you had the president and executive director and the board, so you had about 13 people laying hands on you. And one thing that really kind of surprised me was the weight that you feel when you have that many people laying their hands on you. And it gave me just a perspective that it's important position to serve as president, and it's something to be entered into, soberly and yet in faith, because as they gathered around me and I felt the weight of their hands, it was a significant weight, but I also felt strength. And I think that strength is just a sign that where God calls, He'll equip. And so just the whole process of from beginning to end to being selected is overwhelming, but it pushes you towards God and just to cry out to Him to give you the grace and the strength and the wisdom that you need to serve.